Hey, welcome to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is Mike Love Jr. Met him about 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
Yeah, I think so. Over at the Cowboy Christmas event.
At the Horseshoe.
Yep. Hanging out with some of my buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's always cool for me to meet new people, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm not talking to Chris and Preston anymore. I'm talking to Mike Love. It's like, how you doing today?
Doing well. I'm really excited to be here. So thank you for taking the time out of your day
100%.
and coming out here to Vegas and doing this. Actually, it's the first podcast I've ever done, so this is kind of unique.
I've had a few of those. And some are my buddies, and they're like, "What do I say? I go, just do. We're just talking."
Yeah, it's just a conversation, right? Yeah. Go hit on some subjects.
Worst case scenario, we just cut it all.
Talk some shit.
Put it out.
Just the raw footage. Why not, right?
Well, that's the thing I liked about the podcast is it's not on broadcast television, so I don't have to worry about language. If you drop an F-bomb or whatever, it doesn't matter.
I don't even know if it really matters if we do that anyways, right?
Yeah.
Depends on your
platform. On broadcast, yeah.
Yeah.
So
on broadcast, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on broadcast, but
you got to be
not
careful.
Podcast.
So you're living in Vegas. You've been here for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been here since 1987.
Yeah. So you've seen this city change.
Absolutely. I remember, riding my bicycle through the streets back in the day. There was nothing past Rainbow Boulevard, basically. Charleston Road was a long desert that took you out to Red Rock Canyon. Yeah. I remember when there was no, basically Highway 95 past Rancho Road, and Rancho itself was the route you had to take to go to Mount Charleston.
And now it's built almost not quite up all the way.
It was a really unique time, too, because it was right before the first mega resort, which would have been the Mirage.
Yeah.
Was built. And so
it was like 88, 89?
Yeah, that's when that thing came around. And I think that was the turning point for Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Big time. That's when we started seeing a little bit more of a population influx.
Yeah.
There was more jobs. People started believing. Housing grew. So really cool time for Vegas. A really cool time for me to grow up, too. I mean, right? On the edge of technology, on the edge of civilization basically expanding.
Yeah. Now, you have movie studios moving in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity going on here.
There is.
And forget about the Raiders, the A's, the Golden Knights.
Yeah. And then I think we're going to get maybe a professional basketball team eventually. So
why not?
Why not, right?
Might as well just don't put it at the corner at Trop. That corner's going to be a mess.
It's going to be a mess, but I think what they're planning on is to have more tourists come in without the vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's all going to be foot traffic coming from the casinos or the hotels around those areas.
I have friends that are Raider fans because I'm from L.A., so, they're Raider fans from the 80s. Mm-hmm. They fly into, I have to say Harry Reid now. I still call him McCarran.
Yeah.
But they fly into the airport, Uber over to the stadium, Allegiant, or Mandalay Bay, and just walk across.
Yeah.
And then they take the plane home.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same day
travel. They don't even stay here. They just come watch the game.
Come watch the game. It's fairly inexpensive too because you can do those flights nowadays for $50 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than gas.
100%. That I know for a fact. I just did that drive. It's like, I'm going to get gas in Nevada.
And there's also some airlines that allow you to do the unlimited passes.
Yeah.
So you can kind of book it the day before.
That's what they do.
Yeah, jump on a jet.
Because I went to the one Raiders game during the rodeo when I was here, and we literally walked from Allegiant all the way back to the MGM. We took the tram.
Okay.
From Mandalay.
From Mandalay over
to Excalibur.
Yep.
But because the Uber line was like $40 to Uber and.
Yeah, and then you have to wait forever.
Like 45 minutes. I'm like, bro, let's just go.
Yeah, and time's money.
Yeah. We'll just walk.
Yeah. It's meant to be like that. So I think what they're doing is they're trying to, make these sports centers a little bit more condensed into one area. And that way people can just walk or take these trams that they have.
I think the difference is going to be, because that corner at Trop and the Strip is, you got the Golden Knights, and then you're going to have the A's Stadium, and then still the walk distance of Allegiant.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully they're not all playing at the same time.
Yeah, we've definitely risen into the entertainment capital of the world.
It's kind of weird. You've been around the world. Kind of tell my listeners why I have you on the show as a business travel.
So, yeah, our business travel podcast. And the reason why I'm on the show today is because I work in live events.
Yeah.
And I help produce live events, working as a video engineer, or as a project manager, technical director. And so I get to travel to a lot of really cool locations. Some of them are very unique. Obviously some of them are some convention towns or whatever typical entertainment places that we go to. But regardless, I get to travel a lot, and I enjoy it because I always look up everything before I get there. I find the best places to eat, the best places to go drink. And so when you're working these jobs, you have to find some joy in it because you're sacrificing your life at home.
Yeah.
And when I go to these locations and I'm working 10, 12, maybe 16 hours a day, the only thing that I have to look forward to, that light at the end of the tunnel, is me going out to enjoy a really nice bite to eat or a really cool cocktail at a bar that I'm never going to see again.
Yeah. I'm the exact same way. Like for me, I love museums. So like I went to Louisville for work, and I spent 4 days there. And then I came home, and they're like, "Oh, did you go to the Louisville Bat Museum? Did you go to the Muhammad Ali Museum?" And I'm like, "No." And that was when I first started traveling a lot. And I'm like, so now I look it up, and I'm like, "Oh, that would have never known." The Louisville Bat Museum is awesome, by the way. They have all the bats from all the old. So you could hold Babe Ruth's bat spec and go into a batting cage and hit with it. Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle's bat, all their specs that they had, and they have a batting cage.
Yeah, so I'll try to, if I get some time during the day, which is kind of rare in our industry, then I always look for other things like that too, like museums or sites to go check out, things that I can't see at home. So the road's lonely. I'll admit it for sure.
Yeah.
So you got to get out there and you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're just going to, waste your time out there. And it's kind of sad because I see a lot of the guys in my industry that just want to go back to their hotel room and sit there. It's like, when are you going to be back here? When do you get to do these things?
That's
you can't
the whole
just
thing.
throw all your life away for the cash and go back to a room.
I go to Dallas twice a year for work, and my wife and I during COVID started watching the old Dallas reruns. I never really watched it when I was a kid growing up. It was on, my mom watched it, that type of thing. And all of a sudden, okay, you start watching it as an adult, you're like, oh, okay. And then, so I go to Dallas, and I'm like, I booked a half a day extra. I could have came home Friday night and been wiped out, but I stayed till Saturday and took the Saturday afternoon flight. I went out to the ranch, the Dallas Ranch, South Fork Ranch, whatever, and I did the whole walk, and they got it set up as a museum kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I have friends, so I posted it online. Hey, I went and did this. I have friends that live in Dallas who go, oh, yeah, we've never been out there.
I don't know if many people even know about the TV show anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, if you're old, I admit to that. Dude, I'm finding myself doing that a lot lately. Like, I have coworkers that didn't know who James Dean was. And I'm like,
that sounds crazy. How do you not know James Dean?
Never heard the name.
Wow.
Because I did the drive. So part of my drive is going from the 5 over to the 101 on the 46, which is the road he died on. And so you literally, and I do it 4 times a year. And so every time, they have a sign there that says, James Dean intersection, all that. And so I recorded it, and I posted it, and she texted me saying, who's James Dean? I'm like, oh, it hurt.
Yep.
It's like, that's where we're at, though.
We are. It seems like a lot of those old actors are just kind of slipping away.
Yeah.
I mean, back to the traveling part too. Like I've been traveling basically since I was born.
100%.
So my dad used to take me on tour every summer.
Well, that's what. So I was going to ask you. I didn't know I was going to ask you outside, but my dad traveled for work, and now I do it. So I was wondering, like, do you think it's what you saw growing up, so it just became like okay to do?
I think it was a little bit more of a norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that your father figure, your parent, or whoever was holding down the job. Some people had to work on the road, and so you came to expect them to be gone for a while or go do these things.
100%.
And if you're going to school, obviously you're not going to be able to go as well. And then so my father had part custody of me for a while, and so he ended up taking me on the road like almost every summer with him.
Yeah. Well, I in the summertime, I used to take my daughters with me, because I wanted them to see what I was doing. Like, it's not all parties and fun and rodeos and this and that, And all of a sudden, they're like, I started asking, hey, do you want to go? And they're like, no, we're good. We'll stay at home, play with our friends.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that those younger generations like that, especially the teenagers, would want to take more advantage of, the opportunity to go somewhere and see these things. And not only that, but also spend the time with their parent,
Yeah.
right? Because time is probably the most precious commodity that we have.
I was gonna say, how do you deal? You have a small daughter.
Yeah, I have a
and
9-year-old.
wife, You know.
And a wife. And ever since my daughter was born, it's made it more difficult for me to go out.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And as she got older, it became more and more difficult. And then I look back on these years, and I've calculated the time, and it hurts how much that to think about how much has slipped away, how much actual time that I've been gone.
Almost all the business travelers, I can't think of any that haven't said this. They said it makes it more special when they're home, though.
I don't think so. I mean, I know people want to have that comparison with a yin and a yang, but I think it's more torturous because then you're home for this little bit of time. You don't really get to catch up. You're just kind of going through the motions of being home for a little bit of, trying to catch up on your personal life there.
Yeah.
We miss the magic when we're gone.
The rodeo is in December every year here, and I've 15, 16 years now, and my daughter's birthday usually falls on it. So we always have
It's got to be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and she doesn't want to come out here to Vegas for that.
Not when she was in high school and all that, because
I've made some very hard decisions before about going on a road, staying home for certain things. And so like this year alone, I've turned down a very large job, which would have potentially made me, a lot of cash because it would have taken me away during Halloween.
Yeah.
And this is her last Halloween as a single digit.
Yeah.
And probably one of the last few times that she's going to want to go out trick-or-treating with her dad.
I don't know. My 30-year-old's still doing it. That's all I'm saying, Michaela.
But I just couldn't see myself
it's rough.
missing out on these opportunities. And I've also made it very clear that I'll never work on her birthday, like no matter what. And I've been offered, almost double my rates to go out and do some of these shows during that time frame because it's 4th of July.
Oh,
and I always will turn them down.
Yeah, and that'll come back to you in spades. I mean, it's just I had my oldest daughter was graduating high school, and they had scheduled our sales meeting in Denver that same week. And I'm like, I'm not going. Well, you'll be fine. It's like, I'm not missing my daughter's high school graduation.
Yeah.
For a sales meeting.
Yeah, that's one time.
Yeah.
One time that you get to see that.
I go. So they actually, not because of me, but I guess there was a couple of salespeople that had kids that were graduating and all that, middle school, whatever. So they rescheduled the sales meeting. But I was like, I'm not going.
It reminds me of something that you brought up earlier, and it was a Tony Robbins quote where he pulled somebody out of the audience, started talking to him. The guy's complaining about his dad beat his mom, hates his dad. And Tony Robbins says, well, call him and thank him.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, why? Like, why am I going to do this? And so he says to thank him to know not what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what falls upon me is seeing what traveling as a touring musician has done for my father and how it's ripped apart our family.
Yeah.
Or the emotional toll that it's taken upon, the kids. And so even though he was out there making a better life for us technically, what was sacrificed in that moment as well?
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, right? You're getting blood either way.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, it's literally. I kind of look at like your dad. I mean, it's all he's ever done.
It's all he ever knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially starting off at 20 years old and getting signed.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been playing before that for high school things and whatever. And
Yeah,
getting the band name up.
But so it's like, how do you tell a guy in his 50s, hey, the thing you've been doing your entire life, professional life, you should quit because your kids need you.
Yeah, or just make enough money where you can retire.
Well, yeah. We're all trying to do that.
I think I don't think he wants to retire though. Obviously he could.
He's 84.
Yeah, I think the moment he stops is that it's going to be bad for him.
I have a store owner. I was just there a couple weeks ago, up near San Francisco. He's 85. He works 6 days a week. He goes, "What am I going to do at home?" His kids are my age. They're all telling him to retire. And he's like, "And do what?"
Lose your purpose.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with a lot of retarees when they kind of step back and do this. They kind of lose that feeling of purpose, and and they just kind of slip away. It's unfortunate.
I think your dad's doing it right though. But I mean, he's been 60 years now, 65 years. He's been a touring musician.
Yeah, since what, 1961 is when they got signed.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
I
here we
get,
are.
I always wondered, like, like I interviewed Emmett Smith, and he's been famous since he was in high school. He's a high school player of the year and all that. He's been famous since he was a teenager. So, like, he really hasn't known any other life. Like, your dad's the same way. It's like, he's been famous pretty much his whole life, adult life.
Yeah, I actually had a quote that's kind of like that from my dad, I guess, which kind of explains maybe why we keep working so much.
Yeah.
Or what we're kind of missing. But let's see here. It was never the ocean that almost swallowed me. It was the possibility of vanishing. Okay, and so really what I meant by that was, so many today feel unseen, lost in like social media noise, economic struggle, or fractured communities. And kind of this line captures like that deeper fear, like not drowning in the challenges, but disappearing unnoticed. And so I think that he's overcome so many challenges in life, especially with, splits of the band and things like that. I think his biggest fear is slipping away unnoticed. So that's why he wants to keep doing this and keep going and going and going and going, because when they stop touring, who's going to remember them?
See, I started this podcast for that exact same reason. As a traveling sales rep, it's like, God forbid, when something happens to me that's not good, my company's going to replace me within the week. They're like, and they'll go out to my accounts and be like, what happened to Pete? Oh, he passed away, cancer, whatever, car accident. Oh, that sucks. He was a good guy. Hey, so anyways, what do we got coming up for fall next year? And let's go ahead and write the order.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then call HR and have them replace them.
So you sit there and you go, what? And I did this with my dad. Like, my dad left there, no digital footprint, there's no movies, there's no, like, your dad's going to be remembered for a long time.
Yeah.
But I was like, what am I leaving behind?
What's your legacy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what am I telling my kids, And they'll be able to watch this. My grandkids can watch this in 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to walk around going, what am I, if I were to pass away, what would happen? Like, how many lives have I affected? How many, And so here I am.
Yeah, we're animals technically, right? So,
Yeah.
we do have this instinct for survival, and I think that goes along with that. And it makes me think more about like the digital twin technology stuff that's coming out as well. Is can we actually create, a personality construct and memory construct of which we can then implant into, who knows, robots in the future and continue on our own minds? And would we know the difference after we passed away?
Like I said, I told you earlier, don't tell my wife because that freaks her out. Seeing Elvis Presley do new songs or Chester Bennington from Linkin Park doing new songs and seeing the AI version and you're like, it's kind of cool, but it's still kind of weird to me.
Yeah, a little freaky on some of these things.
Yeah.
But if you want to continue on a legacy with some of those people like that, maybe some of these musicians and or historical figures, they do need to be turned into some type of legacy form like that, where they could be interacted with.
Well, I mean, the question's always asked: if Jimi Hendrix would have survived, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all the ones that died, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, if they would have survived their 20s. What music would they be recording now, or what would they be doing?
Well, they'd still be selling out stadiums.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But, so you sit there and you go,
yeah.
Trust me, like Elvis Presley was in his 40s when he died.
Yeah, that's crazy to think that. He looked way old, too, at that point. Obviously, a lot of partying.
But you think, the life he had in that 20-year span must have been bonkers.
Absolutely. And back then, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever been up to the Elvis Presley suite?
I have not. Oh, yeah. You know what? Over at the Hilton.
Yeah.
And I was
the International. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Westgate.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember going up there a long time ago, but I was definitely a kid.
It's a trip.
Yep. Yeah, the whole top
the
of
whole
the casino.
Floor. So they had 3 wings. Up there, they have a bathtub that was measured to his neck. So he could walk into the bathtub standing up, and the water didn't get above his neck.
Wow.
So he could just float standing
That's
up
pretty
in the
cool.
water.
Huh.
I was like, wow, that's pretty trippy.
That's some special treatment right there.
Yeah. Well, he's got pools up there and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. I went up there twice during the rodeo. They had an event up there.
I don't think we get much special treatment on the road as, I mean, at least being a business traveler.
Yeah.
Once in a while we get some cool events that we get to do.
I kind of look at it. I mean, man, last 5 weeks I've been in 5 different states. All states I've already been to, So it's kind of like, I'm going to Denver again.
So, okay, so like what's like a travel hack that you have? So if you're in a hotel room, what makes you feel at home?
First thing I always tell and I've done this on the show, is if you're going to be there for more than a day, make sure everything works before you unpack. Because if you've ever unpacked and then the water doesn't work, the window doesn't close, the curtain.
Oh, yeah.
And now you got to repack all your stuff to go switch to a different room.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah, I totally get that. That's a good one.
And Tulsi Gabbard gave me my thing's been diet. Like I eat terrible when I'm on the road. I try not to.
But I mean, we don't get to cook meals.
Yeah.
So we go out.
You're in a hotel room. So every meal's $50, $60, $70.
Oh, yeah.
Or you just eat junk just to get you through it. And so I asked Tulsi, and I go, what do you do because she was traveling a lot. And I go, she goes, just don't eat.
What?
I'm like,
no, you can't do that. You have to eat.
You don't have to. You can go periods.
I mean, you can go periods, but
Yeah.
then you're taken away from your enjoyment of life.
So, well, change your enjoyment. I mean, but that's her mentality, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so I literally think about that now when I travel, because I'm like, oh, should I get the donut at the Arco because I got to fill up with gas, but I want to make it home tonight, so I'm not going to spend an extra night in a hotel. I don't want to stop at a Carl's Jr. or whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't eat. It's like, okay.
So I got to go get bags of beef jerky over there at Eddie's World.
Yeah.
Always stop
awesome.
at Eddie's World.
You got to, right?
It's a tiny little, I wouldn't say it's tiny, it's a really cool gas station.
I'm like, it's not
Giant
tiny, bro.
ice cream cone in the front of it.
Yeah.
And it basically have everything possible there, like every type of candy.
It's not a Buc-ee's, but it's still
It's not a
pretty good
Buc-ee's.
size.
Yeah, it's not even close. And then they got a beef jerky stand. They got some food, a bunch of drinks, and lotto tickets.
So you drive the 15, right?
Yeah.
You ever been off of Sussex?
I have not been off Sussex, but I know that there is an old hot springs area over there that was owned for a long time. Yeah. I forgot what happened with it. There's kind of a weird story.
Dude, it's a cool story, actually. So I've been out there a few times. The guy, it's national forest land, and the hot springs, the water that's out there used to be a stagecoach stop before they would go up and over. So that you get through the Mojave. They had water there for their horses and animals and all that, because it's not all. And so it's been known since the 1800s. The guy had the idea he wanted to turn it into a resort. I think in the 40s, after World War II, and but he had to get the lease from the National Forest Service, NFS, or
BLM.
BLM, and so he got, I think it was like 20-acre lease, and they just gave him dirt out there. There's nothing out there, man. He built these little buildings, and they had the pools are still there, where they used to bring in the hot spring water.
Yeah.
And all the little baths, private baths and all that. But he was out in the 40s and 50s, right? The number one complaint was it takes forever to get out there. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of land over in that dry lake flat. So he built a runway. And he didn't ask BLM if they could build a runway. So he had airplanes landing out in the middle of the Mojave Desert on this kind of salt flat runway. BLM said, hey, that's not part of your lease. And he built some other buildings that were off his land, and he just kept building. No one comes out here. And so they kicked him out finally, like in the 70s, I think.
Oh.
And now it's Cal State Desert Studies.
Okay.
So it's part of the college system now. So they do desert study out there.
Huh.
But
no more tourist destination.
How many times have you driven by that road and I've never known?
A lot.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an interesting metaphor on this now that you say that, because how many times do we pass by something on the way to work or on the way when we're traveling that we never stop and see, right? So stop and smell the roses, I guess you could say, right? I think that more business travelers need to do that.
Yep.
You know, when they're in these towns, go to that restaurant, go to that pub, go to that bar, go check out that museum. Because when are you going to be there again? When are you going to have these opportunities? So stop and smell those roses.
Dude, I flew into Bismarck, North Dakota, and I had to open up a store in Dickinson, North Dakota. And I'm like, oh, when am I going to get the chance to go see Mount Rushmore? Because Dickinson's on the west side of the state. And I took the extra day, and then I drove down. I saw the Mount Rushmore in the rain, and I drove through Sturgis to come back, and there was nothing going on. Sturgis is either dead or the rally's going on. Because I drove through when there was nothing. I mean, I'm like, this is it. Like, oh, there's the Buffalo Chip, and it's like, it's just amazing how small and dead it was.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm never, how many times am I get a chance to go there for work? So, and then I was kind of bummed. In Close Encounters, the mountain there, that's in Wyoming, and it's just across the border. And I was like, I'll do it next time, and I didn't.
So do you think that people don't go the extra distance for any particular reason, or they just don't want to get outside of their comfort zone?
All the above. I think it's all the above, because when I talk to people, this podcast has made me say yes to many things now. Because I used to, hey, do you want to go? Nah. Hey, do you want? Nah. Oh, it's up in L.A. Nah. I don't want to. I got so bad in that habit of saying no to things, because like I'm supposed to be tired, It's like, and now I'm saying yes to things, and I think is the Yes Man movie and all that. But so there's some things I don't say yes to, but there's been so many instances where I've said yes to things that I literally would say no just a year prior, and then I meet different people, and
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that kind of depends on, unfortunately, the human mind only does what's familiar.
Yeah.
Or wants to.
Yeah.
We're afraid of change. And it's an evolutionary thing, obviously, because, think about back in the day, we were like cavemen, right? And so we kind of had to stay in one little area, and anything on the horizon basically wanted to eat us. So
Yeah.
we saw something, and
So you
immediately
stayed.
we were fearful.
Yeah.
Right? So we're like, no, can't go near it, can't do this, right? And so maybe it's an evolutionary thing where, that happened to us and became instinct. But, if we're able to force ourselves through those moments and just be like, yeah, I'm going to go do that. I think that's when we really start to expand our horizons and really enjoy life, and getting out there on the road and saying yes to your friends and, yes, I'll go do this. Or, I just worked a 12-hour shift, but you know what? I'm still going to go out and go do this.
Yeah.
Might only get 4 hours of sleep, but hey, you know what?
I'll catch up tomorrow.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah.
like recently I went out to the Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
And so I had to work out there. There were long days, right? And I was probably working, 12, some of them were 14-hour days. But there's this really, really, really great pub called McSorley's Ale House. And it was built in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
It was passed down from Irish family to the next, basically. And a lot of really cool histories in there, right? And it's just a great atmosphere. And so I made it a point to get off work and go to this pub. Yeah. I don't care what it was gonna take to get there. I was going, and it was so cool. Like they brought out these, you get it light or dark. That's your choice.
Yeah.
So they only serve beer. There's no liquor or anything.
Yeah.
It's light or dark. And they bring out fistfuls of beers and slam them down onto your table. And you sit there and get to drink in this place from like the 1800s with this really cool memorabilia of there's a photo of Babe Ruth, a huge one, like from the original photographer from back then. There's like Harry Houdini's handcuffs. There's a lot of really cool features in there, along with like some wishbones from World War I.
Wow.
Of soldiers that never returned, because the story is that kids in the neighborhood would come in there and have a turkey dinner before they were sent out to the war. And they would take the wishbone and hang it on this gas lamp. Yeah. And then when they came back from the war, they would come back and take their wishbone down. And so the ones still hanging there, they're still there, are the soldiers that never returned. So, going to be able to experience these things in a spot like New York City, is amazing. Yeah. And so I always force myself, no matter what it takes, to get out and go do things. And even if I have to walk or take a train or whatever it is. And then if I have some friends working with me, I always try to convince them, like, whatever it takes, I'm going to get you to come with me. Yeah. And if not, then fine, whatever. Another one down there is where our founding fathers used to drink beer and whiskey. and where George Washington had, talked to the troops before, the Revolutionary War. So there's really, really cool features out there, buildings that have been there for, 1700, 1600.
So you and I are exact the same in that sense. But I talk to so many business travelers like, no, like I fly in, I do what I do, I fly home. I don't want to mess with that.
I think they're, unfortunately, in my mindset, they're throwing away their lives literally.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Like your company is paying for you to go somewhere, to have a plane ticket and a hotel.
Right.
Why would you not put a few hours on the front or the back end to actually set your eyes on something new? I mean,
That you potentially will never see again.
yeah, potentially. In even places that I've been, I'll never be able to see those things again because they might have been destroyed.
100%.
So we don't get those opportunities a lot, and I really feel sad for people that refuse to themselves to go explore and to get out of their shells.
Like I said, I think a lot of people they get into that the no category. No, I'm going to stay home. No, I'm going to stay. And I was guilty of it. I mean, my kids, no.
But you would think that would lead to more depression.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not out being social. You're not getting that.
The only thing
Those endorphins.
So I don't want people saying yes to everything. The only thing I remember, there was one event, Route 91. I was supposed to work at it.
Yeah.
And I had my meeting in L.A. and the president's like, hey, do you want to come out, work a couple days at Route 91, free concert? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get on the road. I want to go out and make money so I can be, I don't make money at the events. It's like, I said no, and then that happened.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be there. Like,
fate has its way sometimes.
yeah.
I bet you a lot of people that said no to that concert are probably happy today.
And but it makes you kind of go, wow, like.
It does, but also life's too short to live in that kind of fear as well.
Yeah.
We expose ourselves every day while we drive.
That's what I tell my wife, because most of my time isn't flying; it's driving when I'm on the road. Because I'm California, and I've seen horrific accidents. Horrific. I'll tell you about it later. Zizek's Road was the worst one I've ever seen, and personally saw. And I don't tell my wife about them all.
Yeah, people drive crazy on that corridor as well. They get frustrated. They get road rage. They start trying to cut people off. Race up on the right lane.
It was
a semi and cut you off.
A Toyota 4Runner, and it was coming north. It was coming south, and apparently it rolled and caught on fire.
Oh my!
And the people were still in it.
Oof. Yeah, that's tragic.
Yeah. Because there weren't even fire trucks yet. Cops, just pulled right on it, and you're like, whoa.
Hopefully they were unconscious.
You want to think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I've never seen a body cooked like that. So there are things you see,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I see motorcycle accidents, and
I mean, especially in my industry, I work, in production with these live events and stuff like that. And so we've had some crazy accidents out there on sets or maybe convention space or, building stages. I've seen some crazy things happen out there as well. Like one guy fell out of a ceiling at a local casino here, fell about 27 feet onto a case. It's crazy as he lived.
yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. A little, looks different, but
Yeah, 100%. What do you think that makes you appreciate more? I mean, because when I see things, I think about it. I hit the gong before I take trips, and
I mean, how would you know what was sweet if you didn't taste bitter?
yeah, that's true.
So we have to have these balances in life. We have to experience a certain amount of evil to have good. We have to experience a certain amount of pain to have pleasure. I mean, that's just how it works.
Do you think that's why you wrote the book?
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, he has a book coming out.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I've already titled it Waves Between Us. Hopefully the publishers enjoy it. Essentially, it's understanding the pain that we go through, and looking ultimately to forgive, to let go of certain things, even if sometimes those apologies or forgiveness is not, warranted, or earned.
Right.
But yeah, I've been through a lot and been through a lot of traumatic events and pain. And so I do have a different outlook towards life when it comes to spending time with my own family or spending time with my friends or going out to do different activities. Because, without that darker side and things that happened, you're not going to know, like, what's better, right? Like,
Yeah,
and to enjoy it. So, yeah, I mean, you have to have, the tit for tat thing. Unfortunately, that's the way our world works. Hence this whole yin and yang thing, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, with my book, I call it reverse Shakespeare, because Shakespeare starts off with love and ends in tragedy most of the time, unless it's a comedy. But mine's more or less like mine starts off in tragedy and ends as a love story, and I think it's a unique tale. Hopefully, that will help a lot of people out there.
I was just going to ask you, how difficult was it to write? I mean, like, because it's in your head.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because I think about it.
Yeah.
What's going on.
I mean, I had a lot of motivating factors behind me, and one of them was for my book to help just one person out there close that gap and not leave silence as a legacy.
Yeah.
To make that call.
It's going to help more than one. I mean, even if they hadn't, I mean, no one has gone through what you've gone through. I mean,
at least personally, but I'm sure there's other people out there that can very well relate to my story.
1,000%.
Especially between, father to a son. So you can be a parent and relate to the story, looking down to your kid, or a kid looking up to a parent, or a divorce, or maybe siblings or friends. It's all about really identifying, what hurts you and yourself, and really forgiving for yourself, right? Because it's not for anybody else necessarily. It's to let go, right? And actually, I probably had another quote for that.
So the other thing I was thinking about, because I was literally on the airplane reading some of the chapters and all that. How difficult was it to know that?
Oh, and I know I didn't really answer like difficult to write it. Like, I was in tears.
Yeah.
A lot of these times, like, I'm sitting there typing away, I'm going through this thing, and I get all these things down into paragraphs, and then I have to go back through and rearrange and take some sections and move them over to other ones, and then edit and edit and edit and edit. And those parts were really painful for me. But it was also very, like, healing as well. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because I got to actually, rip open these scars and these wounds and really breathe through them. Where a lot of that I might have repressed, or not really acknowledged a lot of. And so, it was extraordinarily difficult, but yet very, very healing to write all these things down and just be able to finally let it go.
Were you concerned at all about sharing that much of yourself to strangers?
Yeah. Yes.
It's one thing telling your wife or your friends.
I definitely had a lot of concern over sharing my personal story with strangers and what it might do. But when it comes down to it, it's not about me. It's about actually letting this story out there so other people can relate to it and hopefully heal some of their own personal traumas in their life. And even if that relationship's not fixable, to just give it a try and know that you tried, right?
Yeah.
And actually truly, like, just forgive and let go of it. I think one of them was, I have so many that I brought up today, but it was just like, I think this one's kind of cool. It's like, survival sometimes sounds like your own voice, echoing back to you in the dark. And it was about building your own self-confidence, right, within yourself, and realizing that, a lot of times we are alone in this world, right? So with, like, the rising loneliness that's going on right now and mental health issues, this kind of speaks to, like, the necessity of being your own anchor, right? Because we kind of look for these external things, whether it's women, drugs, booze, gambling, whatever it is. We never really look towards ourselves to, like, self-validate ourselves and become that personal anchor. So sometimes survival isn't external. It's hearing yourself and holding on. And this is, my story is all about reclaiming your identity.
Yeah.
And I really exposed myself, and I didn't hold back. And so, who knows what the opinions are going to be out there, but I had to really let go of that fear and honor it and be emotionally intelligent enough too to get through it, because it's a hard choice to really, take your mask off. Because I think that's the biggest problem with society, is that we're kind of all running around and we all wear these masks, right? And it's so rare for us to actually strip our mask off and let somebody see who we really are, because we're so afraid of what they might think about us. We're so attuned to needing validation, and especially with today's world of like social media and posts and all this, likes, comments, right? Where we, have this affinity towards it, where we seek this validation. So we're so, terrified that if we might expose who we really are, that nobody's going to like us, right? And then we also project that fear and those insecurities onto those people around us. And so we're essentially projecting a mask onto them too, because now we want to hear a different context of how they said something to us. Yeah. Because I could say dude or something like that to you, and you'd be like, well, why'd you say dude?
Yeah, why'd you go with that?
Right? Or you could be like, yeah, dude, right? So it's like we're kind of portraying what we want to, like our egos and all this involved. I think the best metaphor for it is we're like in a room, we're walking around, right? And we can see everybody so clearly. But the truth is that room's actually pitch black. Yeah. All right? And we're bumping into each other and we're getting frustrated and we don't know what's going on, but we just need to start projecting this light onto people so we can understand it better, right? Yep. But all that projection that we're doing is from our own history and trauma and things that have happened to us.
From your history.
From our histories, yeah. So when people, get into arguments or they go online and start bantering each other, and somebody gets defensive, well, it just continues to amplify and amplify and amplify and amplify until all they are is defensive, no matter what you say to them. And so we see these conflicts all the time with people just going back and forth, whether it's politics, religion, or anything, really. Anything. And the moment one person's already Raiders. It could be Raiders. It could be a sports thing, right? Yeah. And the moment one person's on that fence, it's just going to reverberate back and forth between them, because no matter what you say, they're going to find it offensive.
That's and I told you this before. That's what I love about this show, is because like people will go, oh, Mike Love Jr., son of the Beach Boys singer, and he's lucky,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would. Yeah, because that's a projection, right? Right. So they're automatically putting a mask on me as well and projecting what they want to see. Yeah. And
they're going to read that book and go, oh, shit.
Yeah, because our the human mind is still extraordinarily simple at the same time, where we just want to categorize everybody. Yeah. Like, you walking down the street, you're driving your car, you look at somebody, one guy's driving a Ferrari, you're like, oh, yeah, wow, he's cool, he's got a nice car, he's probably rich, whatever, right? Yeah. Now some guy's driving a shitbox, and you're like, whoa, who's this guy? Or whatever clothes we're wearing, or et cetera. Like, we all want to categorize and turn these people into objects. And I think that's where we kind of fall short, is when we objectify people instead of like understanding them and working on that emotional intelligence and really putting ourselves in their shoes for a minute and turning them into a subject. Because like our minds are like a mouse wheel, right? Or hamster wheel. We think about the same things over and over and over and over again. When it comes down to it, if you really think about it, we ourselves are just boring to us, right? We just think about the same stuff. But if we look at somebody as a subject and we start really to understand them, there's so much more to discover there. And so getting out of these categories and really projecting these feelings and emotions onto other people around us, I think that's when we're going to really start uniting as a community. And so working in like the entertainment field and going out to these shows, I think that's where we're finding the people that just want to go back to their hotel room. I think they're emotionally exhausted. They've kind of given up.
Or do you think? I think that's definitely some of it. I always wonder, like, are people just not curious anymore? Because when people ask me why do I do the show, I'm like, dude, look at the people I get to talk to.
Yeah, I think they've already projected so much out there that I don't know if it's the curiosity thing, really. I wouldn't say they've lost their curiosity. Obviously, as we get older, we become more numb to things, But
why? Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe we've,
to me, that's the secret, right?
It's like our endorphins spike differently. We get those hormonal spikes from different things. Maybe some people go back to the room and just play on their phones, or just scroll or whatever it is.
The doom scrolling. Yeah.
Or they themselves have just, like I said, have become like so emotionally exhausted where they don't want to deal with anything anymore. They want to go out there and make friends.
Yeah.
They don't want to go out there and have a cheers with somebody, because that means opening up.
Yeah.
Right. But it also means like, finding that person to be a subject again. And that's why it might be that hamster wheel thing where they're like, I'm a hamster wheel. I'm just going to go back to my room. I'm just going to think about the same things over and over again, because they're not willing to step outside of those boundaries anymore. And as we become older, we become hardened, right? As a child, we're like, everything's a wonder.
Yeah.
Everything's amazing. So as we get older, we become more hardened because we've had these traumatic events, or we've had other events in our lives which have changed our perspective on life.
Yeah.
Or people telling us, oh, no, don't do that, or be afraid. Or you know what? Or maybe it's influences outside of that where it says, oh, yeah, you got off work. You should be asleep by now. This is the way of the world. And so I say take back that control, and get out there and do the things that you wouldn't do. I mean, not to a point to damage yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
But
they're to a point.
Get out of your hotel room. Like, go out and do these things. Go enjoy the sights around you. Go enjoy the people. Because I've gone out by myself so many times in different cities, whether it's Nashville,
I'm the same boat, yeah.
Miami, Orlando, Texas. I've been to so many really cool spots, even overseas, where I'll go out there by myself and I make friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to talk to people, see what's going on. And next thing you know, I'm going from like a cool local spot, and then so now I've created a lot of really cool friendships of doing this. And now when I come back to these cities, they're like, yeah, hey, let's go, I got all these things to go do.
I'm the same boat.
And so, like one story, like I get to work in San Francisco, fairly often. And so I go up there and, looking on Yelp and looking up some other reviews, and I find this really cool butcher shop. And
that's pretty random, man.
it is, right? But they serve burgers.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was like, okay, this is like supposedly like one of the best burgers in all of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's like, a smash burger made out of Kobe. And they don't let you eat in the butcher shop. You have to like line up outside the door. You walk in, you get your burger, you go outside. All right. So I go there and I show up a few times, talking to the guy. I eat next door at their restaurant that they have. And so I'm talking to the butcher every time I come in there. And eventually we kind of sparked up a conversation, started chatting. Yeah. And then he was like, cool, whatever. And then we ended up going out for some beers after he got off a shift once. And then so I kind of opened up about my story, opened up about his.
Yeah.
And we've actually developed a really cool friendship. And so now, like, last year I went out there. Was it last year? No, it was actually back in like February I went out there this year. I told him I had to burn some like miles for a Southwest flight.
Yeah.
So I flew there for a day, and he picked me up at the airport, drove me to the butcher shop. When he opened up the shop and said, here, I'll feed you. Made me like, some eggs and on a burger and stuff like that. Stuff that he doesn't do for people, right?
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And then later in the day, he got to shut down, and he took me around to some amazing spots in San Francisco. He showed me where his grandparents met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he took me to this really cool bar. We sat out there, had some drinks, and he pointed over to these old shipyards. And he was like, yeah, right there is where my grandma welded my grandfather's boot to the ship.
Oh, shit.
Yep. She was right there working as a welder and tacked him right to the ship. And that's how they met. And I was like, wow, that was so cool. And then he took me to other parts of the city and like explained like how these areas have like changed and gentrified, what they were prior to this. We're all like, where they used to like butcher all the animals out there. And then that's why some of these like warehouses were there. Yeah. And then he took me to his distributor shop and showed me where he gets everything from there. So it was just this really cool experience, And so
because you looked it up.
Without me going out and taking the risk of exposing myself, how would this have ever happened?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't. I wouldn't see the magic behind San Francisco or through his eyes. And I think that's a lot of it too, is actually looking through other people's eyes and experiencing it through them, vicariously. And then he also invited me out for another time where he had a guy fly in from Japan, a famous butcher from there that's like a Kobe guy, and did a whole not a podcast, but a reels or whatever. They filmed the whole thing and interviewed him inside the butcher shop.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they took us out to a really cool Chinese restaurant over there in Chinatown. And then they pointed out, where Bruce Lee was born at the hospital and where fortune cookies were being made. And like introduced me to all this food, all different types of food that maybe I wouldn't have tried before. And so I think you just, to really enjoy life, especially as a traveling business person, give in to those fears. Give in, let go, expose yourself, go out there, and enjoy life, because it's way too short to not do this. You know, I love going and having these experiences, and without them, I would be depressed because I spend too much time away from my family when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it hurts because, like, right now I'm starting a run where I'm going to go work for 2 months in a row without a day off.
Yeah.
And so I'll go from here on a job working 12, 14 hours a day. And so that hurts still to be in, even if I live at home, because I leave before somebody wakes up. I get home, might be sleeping. I don't get to see them throughout the day, maybe for an hour. And then I go from that job, I leave that job, I get on a red-eye jet, fly to New York, get off that jet right into another job, and work there for a week. And then I come back and work another job, and then I bounce to Nashville. So it's just like boom,
That's
boom,
why
boom,
it took
boom,
me
boom.
a while to get him on the show, people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a point in time where I think I worked like probably almost over 3 months
Yeah.
with maybe 2 days off. And so these are the sacrifices that I make, though, in order to put food on the table for my family. Yeah, I could say no to some jobs. It would change our lifestyle, though.
But do you think that was your dad's mentality back in the day?
Yes, essentially. But I've also made sure to highlight the important times
Yeah.
for my dad, or that my dad didn't. Right. So I'm there for the birthdays. I'm there for Christmas. I'm there for these little holidays. And if it wasn't for my stepmom, I don't think my dad would be doing much with us today. Like, she's been the glue holding that whole thing together and really inviting us out to these special events, making sure Christmas happens every year. So I definitely admire her for that, and I take in a lot of inspiration from that as well.
I was going to. The weird part for me when my mom passed away first, I realized how much she was the glue. She was the reason we got birthday cards and all. The phone calls on. He would call, but it was because she told him to call.
Yeah, that was a lot like my mom, and I can relate with that. Like, my mom was the card giver, and she instilled that in me too.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember the last card I ever got from her. I don't get emotional over that though, but yeah, she was always the one that gave cards. Like, I've never ever received a card from my dad.
Yep.
Not one. It might be like a printed picture, like just some like generic holiday card that the assistant might send out.
Yeah.
But I've actually never received a birthday card from my dad.
Yeah.
So I'm like adamant about buying cards for the people closest to me in my life, which would be like my wife, my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really focused on that and just like leaving those messages, because like I still have cards from my mom when I was a little kid.
I bet. The thing. So then when my mom passed away and then my dad passed away 10 years, 12 years later, it made me realize, like, okay, I'm the adult now. Like, I can't go, well, let me ask Dad what he would do.
Yeah.
Hey, Ma, how should I? It's like, it's me now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. It's like, it's a weird feeling.
I think a lot of it too is like developing some of our own traditions as well.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I can't remember many times where I was taken out on like I do daddy-daughter dates all the time.
Of course.
And so, like, I don't remember many experiences like that where somebody would take me out individually and like just talk to me.
Yeah.
Right. And not treat me like a kid. Like, just like open up and be like, hey, here's life. Here's how this is. Here's how you enter a table, or set your silverware, or here's what you should expect out of a server. At different levels of restaurants and stuff like that. And I think through my traveling experience and going to all different levels of service, I've now have a lot of knowledge about that, where I get to pass it on to my daughter and be like, look, if you go into a really nice steakhouse or whatever it is, or a really nice restaurant like this, here's your mannerisms, here's what you're supposed to expect. And so I get to give her a lot of that culture, going to a sushi restaurant, or, what to expect out of different ones like that. Whether it's Korean barbecue or, I really opened up her palate. I mean, the kid eats caviar and she's 9. But I have to really attribute that towards, going out there, traveling,
and you experiencing it.
And me experiencing it, so that way I can pass on that knowledge.
Yep.
And really the greatest gift that we can do from generation to generation is passing on our knowledge. I think that in today's society, we're failing that. I don't think that generational knowledge is really happening as much. And so that's why you have kids going onto YouTube, looking up how to fix their car. There's one guy on there that's like, he does like a dad thing where he does like all these dads. Yeah. Right. He's like, here's how you change this, or here's how you do this, So I think passing on like just generational like knowledge, and even myself, like when I'm at work, like I am inspired and I want to teach other people how to do my job or learn what systems to go through, or check out media servers and screen switchers and LED stuff. Like I would love to pass on my knowledge, but it's so difficult because it doesn't seem like the ones underneath me currently, there's a small fraction of them that have the ambition to actually want to go out there and learn.
I think that's with everything, though.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, because I'm the same way. It's like people, oh, you're so lucky. I'm like, okay, well, here's what you got to do. Oh, I can't do that.
But you can.
You just call me lucky. Don't you want to be lucky?
Yeah, but it's not luck.
Luck with a lot of work.
The whole lucky thing too is kind of funny because it's really, when it comes down to it, it's not luck. It's drive and ambition.
Yeah.
And getting out there and exposing yourself. So with your work ethic as well, you should, if you have a strong work ethic and you're out there and you're very successful, you should really put that towards your social life too, and your own personal life. And it's all about like, mental well-being and taking care of who you are in your senses. And maybe that's why, some of those people go back to the room too, is that they don't have those coping mechanisms. They don't have the knowledge or the to go out there and understand, hey, I need this meal, right?
Yeah.
I need this balance in my life. Like I can't just go back to my room and think about work or go pound away on the computer and look at some more projects here and there, and then maybe turn on the TV for 30 minutes before they fall asleep. I think it's given into understanding that we all need, a break from our daily activities and go enjoy your life. So I think that's super important.
You going to end with a quote?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know which one though. It's so hard, right?
I didn't know you were such a quote guy, man. You've been hitting me with some good ones today.
I had 10 quotes total. But I don't know if we even got to even that close to that, but I think this one's a solid one right here. So I wrote this one, and this is in chapter 1, and it's talking about after reconnecting with my dad at a Beach Boys concert, and so I hadn't seen him in 12 years, and I go to the Wynn Hotel to go see him at a concert, and it's through a whole like plethora of just the cosmos lining up how this even happened. It was like, and the night was waiting for this moment for me to go up. But eventually I do go talk to him. I don't really want to, I can go into the story right now.
No. Save it for get the book.
And then,
awesome.
So we get to have dinner and we talk and we work through a certain way. And I'm leaving that moment and I'm walking out to my vehicle and I sit in my vehicle and I turn it on and the engine roars to life and I sit there. And I don't move. And I think. And before I drove, I thought, forward isn't always a direction. Sometimes it's a decision. So do you go backwards in life or do you move forwards? It's not always what it seems, right? So for people stuck in cycles of fear or grief or indecision, this flips the script, right? Because moving forward isn't about geography or achievement. It's the daily choice to keep going. So if you're traveling on the road, move forward, get out there, and enjoy it.
Done. Thanks for your time, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we got into some okay stuff there, but